Hello, everybody. So, I have a hard time reading and being consistent with reading. So, I'm going to do this series of continuing my reading or starting my reading on camera. That way, I have a reason for me to do it. And that way, I can also benefit you guys. So, this, What is Your Dream by Simon Squibb. I've been reading it for quite some time, and I've only made it to page 36. And so this is starting from page 36. Basically, what this book is about. Let's go back here. What's your dream? Find your passion, love your work, build a richer life. Simon Squibb is a YouTuber, but he's been a businessman for quite a number of years. And he's been really into finding your own passion in what you do, and rather than work in a place that you don't want to be in. Alrighty. Why a dream matters. That's why I asked the question the way I do. It's a key to unlock that prison that gives us the permission to say out loud the thing we have often thought about, but maybe have never shared. With my microphone, I go and talk to people working in supermarkets, doing security on doors, or just crossing the road. I catch them in the middle of their day, following a routine. Not everyone knows how to react or wants to answer the question. He's talking about the question that he always asks strangers, which is, what's your dream? But with lots of people, something miraculous happens. Their eyes come alive. They stand a little taller and tell me about the brand they want to launch and the culture they want to celebrate, about their plans to travel the world, to launch a photography business, a coffee shop with a purpose, a drop-in service for people in crisis. Often, I think I am talking to a different person than the one I approached only seconds ago. The transformation is immediate, and straight away it tells us something about the power of a dream. How can it change the way we think about the world and ourselves? Take Dylan, who was working at McDonald's when I met him. As he handed me my food, I asked him my question. A dream? Not really, no. The look on his face told me that no one had ever asked him anything like this before. I wasn't convinced by his answer and decided to push a little further. What about the future? What did he want to achieve? He shrugged. There was no plan, no dream. He was just living his life and seeing where it would lead. I still didn't really believe him. I thought there was probably more to Dylan's story, but he wasn't ready to share it yet. So I changed tack and switched my question to an offer. I was going to sit down and eat my food if he could think of his dream and come and tell me before I left. I would help him make it happen. It turned out that he was coming to the end of his shift, and within 10 minutes he had just appeared on my table, big coat on, and a bag of chips and a can of Coke in hand. More than his outfit had changed, Dylan had too. He was smiling, confident, and did not hesitate. I think I've come up with my dream. My dream is to be a Twitch streamer, a popular one, make people smile. Just I had doubted him saying that he didn't have a dream. I believe Dylan now. When he sat down and we spoke some more, I learned that he had been afraid to share this idea with his family and friends. He thought they wouldn't take him seriously, and that he would be laughed on for saying that he wanted to make his living as a gamer. In fact, I was the first person he'd ever told. Soon he discovered that those fears had just been misplaced. Those people that were listening to in our conversation and encouraging him. His manager even said he would help him. When I uploaded a video about Dylan, a number of people hearing his story and supporting him reached millions. It was remarkable watching a person come to life like this, giving voice to their dream and seeing that people wanted to cheer him up and help him. That is the power of a dream, the expression of our deepest and sometimes most secret desire in life, the ambition we have always nurtured, even if we have rarely spoken about it. It's an image of the best version of our lives, something that can change how others see us and how we think about ourselves. Most of us have some concept of this, but too many of us then do something bizarre. We put our dream away and forget about it. We treat it as a guilty pleasure to be hidden rather than a burning ambition to be chased after. We talk down our chances and give up without trying. That's not necessarily our fault. There are plenty of voices and influences telling us that a dream is fanciful and we should accept our lot. The constant message is to put your head down, pass your exams, get qualified, and keep working hard towards the next promotion. That's sad, bro. That's actually sad. That's advice given with good intentions, but it discourages you from the things that you need to achieve a dream. Like standing out from the crowd, pursuing your own ideas, taking risks, embracing failures. Because we all go through this training being told that our value is determined by our school and career achievements and not our passions in life. We often forget and become distrustful of our dreams. And if we have even admitted to them, we tell ourselves that we're not good enough to achieve them. That it's better not to try than to risk failure and lose face. Even if we don't completely discount the possibility of success, we may put it off for another day or another year, in some cases another life. The paradox of our dreams is that the thing we most want in life is often the thing we most are afraid of doing. So often, we take one of the most miraculous human abilities, the capacity to imagine what the future could be, and we use it against ourselves. We imagine this beautiful future and then we deny ourselves the chance to pursue it. We say that our deepest desire is impossible and that it's better to forget about it. This is one of our most self-defeating traits as humans, because there's no better way to think about life or approach the future than frame it in terms of a dream. This is so much more than an idea. It is a power source, like plugging yourself into the mains when you have been running for all this time on half-empty batteries. When you have a dream in your life, you never need to question why you are doing something or it is worthable. You already know it is taking you one step closer to the thing you want to achieve and the person you want to be. A dream may be a simple thing, something that can and should be expressed in a sentence, but it is also multifaceted, supporting us in all sorts of ways as we go through life. Let's look at some of those now. The reasons why I believe this is the most important question that you can ask yourself and that you gain when you are brave enough to come up with an answer. Why dream an end and a start? A few pages ago, I told you that having a dream means starting at the end and basically back engineering what you're saying. Well, it's a little more complicated than that. Here is a truthful part of that statement. Part of a dream's power is that it takes us to a different place from the one we are currently in. Whatever the struggles of life, trying to find work, to pay bills, achieve qualifications, to have a family, the big idea lifts us beyond them. Not for good, but for long enough that we can glimpse what a better future may look like. It allows us to see the finish line in the race we are about to run. It provides motivation. Your dream can do this, and it also has the power to inspire others. One of the most exciting things about my work is how when I help one individual, I can also share their story with millions of others. My DMs are flooded with messages from people who have started their own business or side hustle after being inspired by someone in one of my videos. One time I posted a video where a 16-year-old approached me on the street to share his business idea. Motorized toy cars for kids. 6 months later, I received this DM from another young person. My dad told me I should go get a job at Tesco and not waste time on my expensive hobby. Since I watched your video of the boy dreaming of selling motorized cars and saw that your hobby could be your business, I realized that there is a good business in my hobby, car business. I now make more money in 1 month than my dad did in all year and love it so much. That was one person's dream in action, giving confidence and belief to someone who hadn't yet dared to embrace theirs. That is the power of our imagination, which a dream allows us to harness. If you can't imagine a better future, when you are never going to achieve it. Yet this vital muscle in our brain, one we all developed and exercised as children, is one that too many of us allow to waste away with age. You need a dream, you need to build it up again. Now for the clever bit. Even though we're thinking about the future, something we haven't attained and which may take years to realize, we can start right now. The dream is right there, and there's nothing stopping us from taking the first step towards it. That is the genius of our human ability to predict and imagine the future, to think about what it may be like. It's both distant and accessible, an end and a start. Knowing where you want to finish is also an invitation to make it a beginning, to make a beginning. A dream's capacity to change our perception of reality, even briefly, is one of its most important features because it is open to anyone. You don't need money, you don't need a job, qualifications, or even a roof over your head. Dreams are democratic and they are universal. Indeed, they are even more important to people who have little or nothing than those who are already living a comfortable life. The name Chris Gardner may or may not be familiar to you, but you probably remember the film made about his life, The Pursuit of Happiness. In the book, it was based on, he wrote about finding his dream at the lowest point of his life. As a 27-year-old single dad, he had a job but no place to live, unable to afford either rent or childcare. For a year, his son, Chris Jr., were homeless, sleeping under the desk in his office, in airport waiting areas, church shelters, and even train stations' bathrooms. With one hand he pushed his child's buggy, and with the other he carried a duffel bag with all his possessions, and a suit carrier with his spare work clothes. Then his dream, quite literally, pulled up to the sidewalk in a glittering red Ferrari. He stopped the man who got out and asked him what he had done to get this amazing looking car. He was a stockbroker. So Gardner decided to become one too. He saw his way out of despair and later started a brokerage firm that he sold for millions of dollars before becoming a globally renowned motivational speaker. It was having a dream, he wrote, that had sustained him and helped him and his son to survive their perilous situation. As long as I kept my mental focus on destinations that were ahead, destinations that I had the audacity to dream about, might hold a red Ferrari of my own, I protected myself from despair. As long as I kept moving forward, one foot in front of the other, the voice of fear and shame, the messages from those who wanted me to believe that I wasn't good enough and would be stilled. It's an amazing example of what a dream can help a person to achieve, in between quotations, and that there's no harm in including a possession in there as long as it's linked to a purpose and that you don't rely on the possession part to make you happy. To imagine, to dream, are universal human abilities, not one passed down between generations or accredited by a university. We can all do it. The only question is whether we permit ourselves to do it and are willing to follow where it takes us. Wherever you are in life, a dream gives you a place to start because it provides you with a target to aim for. It harnesses that great human skill of predicting the future, not against us, but for us. It allows us to imagine, permits us to hope, and enables us to believe. What better starting point could there possibly be than this? Thank you. We'll be continuing the rest on why